have it. In the number 1 spot is Mike, W7MS. Good morning, Mike. In the 2 spot is W7 YBS Henry. Good morning, Henry. And in the 3 spot is Ron, NU6F. Good morning, Ron. In the 4 spot is Dave, W6NQI. Good morning, Dave. And we've got Steve, W6SSP, in the number 5 spot. Good morning, Steve. In the 6th spot is N6BCT, Bill. In the 6th spot, Bill, good morning. The 7th spot is Carla, W4DBQ. Good morning, Carla. And the 8th spot is Jerry, W6JRY. Good morning, Jerry. And in the 9th spot is Tom, W6TOM. Good morning, Tom. All right, one last score up here, and then we'll get started. Their number 10 out there must be on the tail end of the first round coming out. Okay, nothing to hurry. Well, quick rundown. The ART-13, D104 microphone, inverted V. Listening to 2 receivers, the R45 ARR7 on the dipole, and I've got the 1962 R390A as a backup on the loop. That's a W4 watt meter I'm looking at. Anyway, that's what we run down with an LS3 speaker on the ARR7. And R398's got a very fine air-cooled speaker that Henry was kind enough to purchase. He gave it to me many years ago. He found it at a swap meet, and it's been a part of that R390A receiver ever since he gave it to me, and it's a wonderful speaker. So thank you again, Henry. It's been, what, about 15 years ago. So anyway, let's get started, fellas. We'll go to the top and we'll go over to Reno and Mike, W7MS, to take it. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, let's check the steam pressure here on the gauges. K0DWC and the Vintage Military Net, W7MS, Mike and Reno. Well, good morning to one and all, a large group here, so we'll keep it relatively short for round 1. But this morning, back on the National 600 transmitter, and we're going to, from here forth, we're going to use the correct nomenclature, since the NC600 is actually a neutralizing capacitor in the national catalog, so we'll stick to the tried and true here. But solve the issue from last week. Maybe we'll discuss that on round 2 when it comes back to me. But good morning to one and all, and over to Henry, WA7YBS, W7MS.
You want to add burn to the list there, Chuck? Go ahead.
K6VXY is here.
Okay, Henry. Yeah, I didn't hear him the first time, but you came back and I heard him the second time. So thanks for picking him up. VXY. Okay, Vern. Vern, I've got you in the number 10 spot, sir. So Henry's number 2, so you got a little ways to go, but thanks for checking in. I got you in the 10 spot. So Henry, WA7YBS, go ahead, and thanks for the pickup.
Okay. And we have to do a little tweaking and peeking here. And normally we could talk and tweak at the same time. Everything looks wonderful. So there we go. And good morning to all. And yeah, I heard Bob in there. Bob made, W6AQU. He made one transmission. And then I think when he came back, when you called him, there was a carrier for just an instant. And then I guess he blew a fuse and has to go to another station, I guess. And I thought I heard Robert in there too, W7MKA, but hey, It's early, and who knows what exactly you're hearing. I did hear Tom in there too. Tom is W6TOM. He's not real strong, but Q5. Everybody else is very strong signals, and even Bill is Q5 into Dayton Valley. Listening on the Raycal, the genuine made in England Raycal, the RA-17L in the Royal Army case, silver hammer tone case for the receiver cabinet, and the transmitter is a 32V3, the Collins 32V3, and hard telling what the power is. I got a new watt meter, and what a difference. I mean, the old W4 used to show this 32V3 at about 110, 115 watts output power, and this Daiwa shows it at 90. So I don't know how, I don't know. I mean, it's rated at 10% accuracy, but I don't know. It's quite different. But then that's okay, because every W4 that you put in line reads different anyway. So watt meters are just that way, unless you're going into a dummy mode, I guess. 20 degrees this morning, going to be clear, going to be nice. And so with that, over to Ron in U6F, WA7YBS.
Okay, let's see if I got it. Yeah, sure so. All right, guys. Well, pretty good copy on everybody. I'm having a little difficult time with all the QRM. Anyhow, I'm on SCR 274 ahead with an afterburner at 200 watts and using original G17 carbon microphone and the Sama repaired transmitter and receiver. And I'm on the long wire at the present. Yeah, with the new balance that happened last week is the big 3 kW Palomar 6-to-1 balance became a 1-to-1 short. And temperature, I don't know, but it's cold. It's cold, and it's an hour earlier. Okay, with that, take it away, Dave. W6MQI and U6F.
Hi, U6F, W6MQI. I think you said you were on a PRC 174. I didn't catch that. You're a little on you're not your usual strong signal today. But everybody else I'm copying okay. Tom, you're a little on the weak side. Copying you just fine. But I'd say top dog today is Mike on that National 600. Sounds really good. Nice audio. I'm on the AMT-13 today. This thing on the R390. I was going to use the TCS today, but a couple weeks ago, Steve mentioned my audio was clipping. I took a look at that, and running the TCS through my Drake L7 on the modulation meter was showing about 20% modulation. If I bypassed the amplifier, I had full modulation. All the other modes, CW, going through the amplifier are fine. So I'm thinking, well, heck, there's something wrong with the amplifier, so I ran another radio through the amplifier, and everything was fine. AM mode, single sideband, CW. But when I try to run AM on the TCS through the K0DWC, no work. So, not sure what that's about. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to use the TCS today. But Yeah, getting up this morning was, I looked at my clock and said, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock already? So forced myself to get up, so I got to go to work tomorrow. It's temperature today, it's 40 degrees, and the sun's starting to go up. Doesn't look like there's any wind or anything out there. Kind of a crisp morning, so. But anyway, that's all we got going here. So who's next here? Look at the list. That'd be Steve. W6SSP, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave. Thank you very much. W6MQI, W6SSP. Good morning, everybody. It's early. Wasn't expecting a good crowd today. So 10 check-ins, 11 folks altogether. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, this is Steve, W6SSP, just north of Santa Rosa. Running the usual Collins 32V1 transmitter, about 85 watts out, and matching 75A1 receiver. Both from about 1946 or 47. Microphone is an unamplified D104, and dipole about 30 feet up or so. And Mike, boy, I got to comment on your National again. Sounds fantastic. Good carrier, excellent audio, the whole 9 yards. Really good. And good to hear Tom again. It's been a while, Tom, W6TOM. And a reminder is that Sonoma swap is next month, April 26th. And Jerry, good to hear you in as well. I finally was able to get a download of that book or set of notes that you sent the link to. And it's a fantastic book. I'm up to page 42 so far and really enjoying it. It's about spy radios and RID and that sort of stuff. Very, very enjoyable. So we'll send it over to Bill, N6BCT, W6SSP. Good morning, Bill.
Okay, N6 Bravo Charlie Tango. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Quebec. Well, good morning to everybody. So I made it this morning, Henry. First go around. So, but anyhow, I'm on the same rig as Chuck, of course, and I got something pretty big to tell you guys on the next go around. So I'll save it for one round. So I'm going to go ahead and make it short and hand it over to Jerry, W6JRY, to take it. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Quebec.
Okay, Carla, thank you. W4DVQ and the group W6JRY. Good morning to all. Everybody copyable here this morning. Seem to have some rapid QSB on everybody here so far. That may smooth out here as the time moves along. But anyway, we're on the 32V3 transmitter this morning, 90 watts, and receiver the 75A4 here. I was interested there with Henry's comments about his 32V3 and the variation in the power meter and so on. So I kind of set this thing at, yeah, you might mention what your plate current there is, Henry. Mine's right at 180 milliamps, and I'm getting 90 watts output. But actually, this is not the watt meter I'm using on this radio is one of the Heathkit HM 2140As, something I built long time ago. But anyway, somebody else mentioned to me there was only that was on here that was running the one of the 32V transmitters was only getting 90 watts. But that's all. This thing will just fiddle around with it, and 90 watts is all I'm getting out of it. And very possibly the 4032 is getting a little flat there. But very strong signals this morning, and the one that's got the loudest signal here to me is Dave, W6MQI, right at the present time. That'll probably stick around. And Bill's about as strong as I've ever heard him here. It's up, way up there with some of the other stations. So I don't know if he's changed anything or it's just conditions. So anyway, enough out of me, and over to Tom there, W6TOM in the group, W6JRY.
How about the price up in there, if you guys don't mind? How about my call? Getting this microphone to connect to the radio. Anyway, I would appreciate it if a couple of you guys could give me a signal report. I'd like to know what the quality of this audio is. I don't know if Tom wanted an audio report right now, but if he did, this is WA7YBS. The second microphone sounded better to me. It had more highs, but I don't know. Your signal's not real strong, Tom, but so it's difficult to tell for sure. But it sounded like the second mic was better.
Sorry to interrupt here, but Henry, did you copy Bill's transmission? I'm a little confused in what he had to say, W7MS.
Yeah, he was saying that John, W6MIT, is a silent T, and so he was very sick the last time that Bill talked to him. So, yeah, he said John is a silent T, sorry to hear. So, anyway. I don't know if you want to make a comment there, Mike. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say my apologies for violating the decorum of the net here, but I needed a qualification because I really had the impression nobody really copied Bill's transmission. I'm glad you did, Henry, and you can validate what my DSP had kind of created in my head, what I thought he said. But Back to maybe back to Chuck to wrangle the cats here, and I'll just stand by for my turn. W7MS.
Okay. I know it goes to Vern, number 10 there. Stand by, Vern. Yeah, I didn't really copy Bill's all that well either. So I'm glad you did, Henry. So I can tell you, Mike, we're really sorry to hear that. He's a great guy, great operator. So hats off to that was it. So okay, well, we'll go ahead and continue with the net, and Vern, go ahead and take it, and then set it back up to me next service, K0DWC, and then I'll make a call out. K6DXY, go ahead.
Okay, I guess I've got it. K6DXY. I'll make it two on the first one. I got news on VTVM, something that bugged me for years. I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about it, but it's one thing that annoyed me about the VTVM. Still running the SB200, ICOM 7100 and stuff. I'll scroll report and do that on the next time too. They got my good antenna that I'm using. Signals today, Mike and Dave are both 20 over everyone else except little week, and so Bill, I'm sorry to hear about W6MIT. It's sad he's gone. I remember his Saturday nets, I was on that a ton. Lived on it. And we had several QSOs on 160 on Saturday night with some other people that would get on 160. That's when I still lived in Dublin. We were at Dublin yesterday. We were at our old house yesterday. That's part of the next report. This K6 VXY, and back to you, Chuck. And it's amazing. I was here earlier. My antenna, everything was messed up. I had to do a lot of work. Back to you, Chuck.
Yeah, W6KLM, go ahead, Tom. Henry, you want to give me your report? You're the first one that heard it.
Yeah, Tom, W6TOM. You're not extremely strong here, but you're strong enough. I thought the second microphone sounded better. It had more highs. So that was just my report. Both microphones were okay. You know, you were understandable with both of them. I just thought the second one was a little bit better. Back to you, Tom, W6TOM, WA7YBS. Turned it back to you.
Okay, Henry, thanks. Yeah, I heard him that second time, but then he just kind of faded into oblivion. I couldn't tell if he had passed it or not. So thanks for the pickup on that. Okay, this is Tom and John. Okay, let me make a call out to if Robin's there or Bob. W6 or HC, Bob, are you there on frequency? Robert, W7MKA, are you there in frequency? Okay, is there anybody out there that would like to check in catering the first round? Be number 11, you can come now. Okay, nothing heard, so I guess we'll head back up to the top here. Getting a little story here about John. So, just there goes, I guess. So, anyway, Mike, I just have to say your audio sounds fabulous. That MC600. It's really, really good audio. Congratulations on that. So far everybody seems to be doing relatively well. I am having a problem with Phil. I just can't make out what he's saying this morning anyway. He was wanting me to, I bet last week, but conditions are with the law. So. Anyway, we'll keep it going and we will send it back up to the top for round 2. To Mr. Mike, W7MS, K0DWC.
Okay, K0DWC and the vintage military net W7MS. Well, quite a shock to hear the news this morning about John, and we'll have to digest that over time. And we could probably make the usual curt comments when an old friend passes away. But great guy. And Henry certainly has quite a contribution to attribute is in the hardware area in his station. But I guess back to context here in the comments. Thank you for the comments on the audio. And W6TOM, just too much rapid QSB and signal and noise issues to comment on audio. But you were there, but a bit on the challenging side here from reception at this point. And yeah, as far as the national 600 transmitter goes, the failure last week was not my previous issues with the rest of the plate leads for the RK38. It was actually a insulation breakdown on the output tank coil between the bare copper wire on the primary to the insulated wire on the secondary. And it was just a pinhole failure on that 87-year-old insulation. Easily identifiable with a high pot tester, and we sleeved that with some Teflon tubing, so it doesn't look original, but underneath the Teflon tubing is the original secondary, and also with Teflon tubing, it's we'll wait for the next failure, but it won't be in that area of the transmitter. So great on everybody and variations in watt meters, but then again, you could go you could get on your soapbox and discuss dB relationships in watts, but we won't go there. But it's just shows the inaccuracy of the watt meter. It of course you've got the below reality, you've got the reality readings, and then you got the ones we all like that give you an erroneous high reading and give you a feel-good moment. So it's a confusing issue. But great signals, great to hear Ron on the SCR274N, screen modulation and carbon mic. It sounds really, really good at this location. So congratulations and honoring your family member who served in that facility and also was a POW. So that's all good. And I remember Ron and I and Larry went and saw in Cold Blue in the movie theaters when that documentary premiered, and of course it's readily available on HBO if you're willing to shuckle out the $10 a month to watch that excellent documentary. So over to Henry, WA7YBS, W7MS.
Okay, Mike. Yeah, I'm just looking at some meters and tweaking and peeking. Yeah, Jerry, I'm running 200 milliamps on the 32V3, and I'm on the high voltage plate voltage, which, let's see, what does it measure? Under load, it's about 790 volts. I think that's what it said. About 700 volts under load. So anyway, it sounds about like what the manual says. So, like I say, this is the same way I've run the V3 for quite a while. And it's just, the difference in watt meters. And the Drakes, the W4s, are old. And the ones I got are used. I got them off of eBay or someplace. And, so you never know what's happened to them. So I splurged there. I bought a brand new watt meter. And it was a Daiwa, a 901, CN 901, with the twin needles, the crossing needles there, so you can look at reflected power and power output simultaneously. And so anyway, that was, it was just different, that you see 90 watts instead of 115. So, it's just, who knows, different way of doing things, different readings. It all is relative anyway. Yeah, that was, John, or not John, but Bill was coming in quite well here. Lots of highs in that transmission, so, I was sure of what he was saying. And, to reiterate, he said that the last time he talked to John, he was very sick, and so he has, become an SK. And so, yes, it's, it happens, and that's, and like Mike says, we have quite a few pieces of W6MIT's handiwork, and we run them quite often. In fact, I was going to run the 1625 rig and the linear amplifier today, but, daylight savings time. I got excuses for everything. So anyway, I didn't run it today. Anyway, sorry to hear about John, but it was not unexpected. And let's see what else is going on here. I planned on changing this linear array. It looks like everything is pretty steady today. But what about 2 weeks ago, when I was initially doing some testing here, it seemed like I maybe had a break in the feed line, or maybe a couple of wires, stranded wire on the feed line. Then I had a break of maybe a couple of strands because it was acting kind of erratically. But that's also settled down. We don't have that anymore, but I had plans of, and I still will do this, and it's spring when it warms up, is to change the antenna from a 2-element collinear array to a double extended ZEP, or an extended double ZEP. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. That's a little bit of an increase in gain and a little bit of an increase in length of the antenna, but very easily accomplished. So that's what we're going to try next, an extended double ZEP. And with that, let me turn it over to Ron, NU6F WA7YBS.
Okay, let's see if I got it. Oh, turn down the monitor receiver. And looking at the scope, there's some audio there. Carbon granules are making noise, so good deal. All right, well, sorry to hear about John. I never did know John, only through what you guys have said over the years. So, it's the last QSO we all face. So, and like you said, Henry has got quite the collection of his handiwork. So, his top end will come up with his topic often. And I don't really hear Bill or Tom, the SCR, Arc 5 receiver is not great, and there's enough QRM either side of us by 40 or 50 kc that that's taken most of the weak ones out. But anyhow, good deal otherwise. And Mike, I forgot the name of that movie. So when I have this and the BC 375 fired up here, and I think Uncle George and the and the passionate witch too. And as much as you got to keep your hands busy doing all this stuff up here in a nice warm shack, I really can't imagine what it's like at 25,000 feet with flat going all around you. Anyhow, good deal on all fronts. Okay, we're anxiously waiting the squirrel report, and you know, spring is coming, and let's just hope that your squirrel that's been doing most of the damage has not been procreating with other squirrels and raise a whole batch of family members that want to wipe out your antennas. And Jerry, good to hear you again this morning. And I did talk to Tom OP at length yesterday, and he's been busy with his other hobby with the movie projectors. So he's been strong enough in helping another theater get some equipment going. So that's been eating up his time. And Dave, okay, on the TCS. Yeah, you know, after you first get the rig all fixed up, stored it on the air, and it's working just fine. You just can't get real excited about getting back in there and working on it again. You're ready to look for a new radio. Like the PRC 174, but we're waiting. And yeah, let's see. Mostly it's been 630 meters. Boy, oh boy, have I ever been running a bunch of that RF out the antenna. I can say I've worked on CW. My standard path is from here to Cortez, New Mexico, AI8Z. Mike and I can pretty much, we've been having at least three or four rag queues a week, and we just seem to have a great path. And on digital, I finally worked Hawaii and Hawaii, Alaska, and New Jersey. Now 2 ways on those. With actually, my signal into Hawaii was good enough. If Lawrence had gone CW, we probably could have pulled it off. But there's just nobody running anything but digital mode. I think there's just a handful of guys, and I've worked them all so far. Anyhow, all right, good deal with that. I'll pass it on down the list to Dave. W6MQI and U6F.
All right, NU6F, W6MQI. All right, so you're running an SCR 274. I thought I heard PRC 174, so yeah, it's sounding good. In fact, I've been listening on the Utah SDR, and you're actually stronger into that one, Ron, than you are here in Livermore. But in fact, I was hearing Tom on the Utah SDR as well. And Tom, you were about as loud in Utah as you are here at the house in Livermore, so interesting. Well, yep, I didn't know John personally or anything, so never even talked to him, but that's always sad to hear about that. And Henry, I concur with your Daiwa power meter. I have a CN801. And when I run my ART13 through my Dentron antenna tuner, power meter says I'm doing about 180, 160, and the Daiwa says I'm doing about 120. In fact, like 115 or so I'll carry her. But just switch the meter on it. It's got I'm assuming yours has a peak hold, or a peak reading, mine like mine does. But works okay. Let's see. Ron, I did pick up some, actually I picked up some real PR-174 radios instead of my phony clone that I've been building. Picked up two units. One of them is kind of a part set, and the other one worked, but it's apparently has a bad power supply, so I gotta look into that. So, I even got the mobile mount for it. So that's going to be another project coming up here. All right, with that, I'm going to bail out of here. I got to get my day going. So I'll say 73 to everybody, and everybody take care. So over to Steve, W6SSP, W6MQI.
Okay, Dave. Very good. Good to hear you on, and glad to hear you got a couple of PRC 174s. That'll keep you busy. Also kind of nice to have something to pattern your project off of. Nice to have one in hand doing something like that. And, you know, concerning power meters, well, you know, I've dealt with that for a long time. And when I was fooling around with QRP radios, which I didn't have any watt meters at all, it would register under 5 watts accurately. I discovered there was a formula where you can use a scope of the RF going into a 50 ohm load and make a very accurate measurement that way. And I've since calibrated most of my power meters using that method, and they all agree with the Bird 43 that I have. So anyway, that's one thing to do. It's I'm sure the formula is in the ARRL handbook or online or something, but in fact the watt meter I use here, watt meter SWR meter, is one of those cheap Japanese things. I've calibrated it for full scale with 85 watts, which is what this thing puts out. And by the way, again, I'm running a 32V1, which is very similar to the 32V3. Also running 180 milliamps, the low tap though, 600 volts. And line voltage is 112 volts. So using the original tube, the original 4D32 tube. So I think, you know, around 90 watts or so under those conditions is pretty normal, or at least based on the 3 that I've used. It's normal for all 3 of them. And sorry to hear about W6 MIT. I didn't know him, but I've seen on Henry's the beautiful work he's done, and I'm glad to hear that some of his accomplishments have been saved and are being used. That really says a lot for Silent Keys. Hope it stays on the air for a very long time. Anyway, I've got company coming again later today, so I've got to get ready. I will say 73 myself. Hope to see you all next weekend. And turn it over to Bill in Half Moon Bay. And 6BCT, W6SSP, 73 all.
W6SSP and 6BCT. You all found anything I remember, John, we used to work at the same company, Daniel Victor, in San Mateo, and California, and that's how we met. And so we used to go to club meets together, and we met at a spot on one of things joined up with 280 and drive down to the flight meet, and then we passed up there, and it was a lot of fun. So this is still there on John. And it's great to have the guys on, and I'm sorry to hear John also calling on the telephone. I would like to tell him up very early in the night. And I'm sorry guys, I missed this call this time. And so I had to go up really report MKA and get him to figure out what's happened to John. And they came up with a report that he's a silent key. And so that's the story there. And I couldn't get a hold of the nursing home sometimes. So luckily I'm up at 37 MKA and to I had to put in the water because we didn't have the email for public on KFS. So that's the still up. So it's ready for public and Bravo Planetarium.
Okay, N6 Bravo Charlie Tango. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Quebec. Well, 73s to the ones who have signed. And yeah, sorry about John. I was lucky to talk to him a lot on the early bird net, and he always enjoyed my critter stories. But yeah, that's a tough one. That kind of hits home there. But I'm gonna save my news till next week when I'm net control, because I ain't in the mood to talk about it now. But this is going to be my 73 round. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jerry, W6JRY. This is Whiskey 4 Delta Victor Quebec saying 73s and 73s to W6 MIT. See you guys.
Okay, Carla, W4DBQ and the group W6JRY. All copied, all okay. The QSB is flattened out a little bit, and still good signals from everybody. I'm Bill, and 6BCT, and getting probably the best signal I think I've ever heard from you. I don't know if they've changed power level or antennas or something there, but it's probably just conditions. Dave is still very strong there. But everybody's good copy here without too much problem. Yes, sad news there on John. The same problem around here in the area I live. I've lost just about every one of my ham friends here. They're just not around to really chat with. One or two left, I think. All the ones that I knew, you know, like really early ones that I went to school with, the group you have in school, or at least a lot of people do. I know in high school there was maybe 5 or 6 of us or something like that, but they've all gone away. And I look back in the log here, the last time I talked to John was October of last year. KB9R Joe. But back in some of the AM nets and so on, he was on quite a bit. And can remember some of those days. Yeah, okay, on all the watt meter stuff. Yeah, I end up, I've got a couple of the older bird watt meters. Actually, I didn't buy them. They come through one friend of mine, a Silent Key. I'd actually picked one up in a yard sale. I guess it was a Silent Key ham yard sale or something out like that, and I think it was 20 or 30 bucks or something like that. But used those through the years, and of course there are all kinds of them around. And tons of the varieties of CB watt meters all over the place, and that was a big thing. My main problem right now with radio equipment or something to do with the hobby and so on is I've lost the indicator on my rotor on my short tower, the 60-foot tower. I've been using a Selson on that thing for 60 or 70 years, and ever so often, I think it's about every 10 years, it uses a Selson and prop pitch motor, and uses a bicycle chain chain together there to the Selson from the rotor with some kind of sprockets, and it gets to the point to where they get all rusted up and seize up, and then they break. So I have to kind of look out the window to see I can't the way the antenna's pointed until I can get somebody to climb the tower. I haven't been doing any tower climbing for a while, and I do have some guys that can do it for me, but I'm just waiting for nicer weather or so on. So yeah, it's my just another thing trying to keep the equipment up. Between that and yard work, there's just always something around to do, that's for sure. And I was going to comment on Tom's audio on the military radio pack set he's got there. Yeah, definitely the second microphone was better audio to me on that radio. And, well, I don't have much of any other comments here, so I'll say 73s, be listening out here. Not much more to comment on. One of the things maybe next weekend, or next time I get a chance to get on, I'll talk about some material I just was looking at and going through a bunch of stuff that I'm wondering if anybody remembers back in, well, this would be in the 1940s, the Kludge California kilowatt. I tried to research all that years back and so on. It's the radio that, it was a beautiful looking Art Deco radio, desk radio, predecessor to the desk kilowatt, the Johnson desk kilowatt, which looked, of course, somewhat different. Always wondered if there was something between the idea of the design and the building of the Johnson kilowatt came from the Kludge California kilowatt that was advertised in a variety of radio magazines. And I have one of the magazines, the CQ magazine, March of 1946, but that's something for later on. Anyway, 73s, and goes over to Tom, W6TOM, if you're still there's W6JRY, and I'll be listening, but we'll say our 73s. And 73s to the rest that have checked out. It's W6JRY.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, John being gone and passing away, and he had a lot to do with me, an awful lot to do with staying active on AM, because he had the Saturday morning group. I don't know that it was this group, but he was on all the time. 3870 was he at? Yeah. And I just got me active. I restored a DX100, which I later sold to a guy. Restored my DX60. That all went in the fire. Bring that up again. And the squirrel report. I got a way of fixing it, but it's improved the signal to Dave, and he's the strongest. Mike in Reno's close second, but Dave is staying over 20 over. I don't know that he hit 30 over, but my antenna is jerry-rigged now because the squirrel got it and dropped it down from its height of 50 feet at the end there, down to about 10 feet. So I'm going to use a different tree and a different method, but they got the rope And the way I could save the rope is they got the rope where it was tied to the tree down below. And that was enough that it, let it all fall. But I'll just use an offset rope, probably a wire about 1 or 2 feet long, and challenge him to be a tightrope walker to get out to the antenna. But the antenna at that point will be, should be the antenna itself. So maybe he'll get electrocuted. But then I'll string that through the pulley, which I had, is still there, and down to a rope further on. Then he'll have to be a real tightrope walker to get to the part that's a rope, so he won't be doing that. I was shocked, though. It was up for a couple of years. And you guys are all coming in about the same, so that part's good. On the VTVM, the one that I ordered off eBay was functional, but the battery holder was garbage. It had become completely corroded. And so I hooked it up, and it was doing what my old one did. The zero and the full scale thing would jump around because the battery wasn't really making good solid contact. So I went down to a local PMI hardware and got a spring from him. It's a little smaller spring, not as big, and stronger. And I was as much as 4 hours. It doesn't move at all. You can bang on it, do whatever, and it's solid. So it's a much better spring than the piece of junk that he could put in there. They didn't do much junky stuff, but that spring for the battery for your own scale is garbage. And so I'll be able to use that now to test it. Probes are coming Monday, new probes, for checking out the Marauder. And we were down in San Jose. I'm glad I'm not there anymore again, because we had to go to see the person that does our taxes. And they were in Lower San Jose, down by IBM. And that traffic on Saturday was a nightmare. It took us 3 hours to get there. We're 3.5 hours. 10:30, we got there at 3. We stopped by our house in Dublin. It makes you wish you were back, because the redwood trees they used to have antenna on are now 60, maybe 70 foot high. And there's just a big stream of them. The whole antenna could be 70 feet elevated, and it would be favoring east-west direction, and from the area of Dublin. That would be ideal for everybody on this net. So anyhow, 73s to all, nice hearing you. I did make it. I just had not completely hooked up my antenna since repairing it. That's why I was trying to be check-in number 7 there, but didn't make it. 73's all, and back to you, Chuck. K0DWC, see you guys next week, and I'll have my antenna that I'm using now improved again, so it should work fine. I was worried that it would be very bad, but it's working fine. So, 73's to all, and I'll talk to you later. It's K6BXY. I'll be listening for a while, but 73 is K6BXY back to net K0DWC.
Okay, Vern. You still got a good signal coming in here to Dayton Valley this morning. All right. Well, a lot of folks have signed, so I think we got Mike still there, Henry, Ron, and I believe Bill's still in there too. So I got Bill. If you're still there, you'll hand it back to me when you're done with the transmission. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. All right. Sorry, guys. I was just studying my cheat sheet here. So let's start the 73 round, guys, and we'll go back up to the top there to Mike, W7MS, in the group with that good sounding NC600. Go ahead, Mike. Well, hello. Well, thank you, Chuck. K0DWC W7MS, and of course this is the de facto 73 round, but 73 of the folks who have signed on the previous 73 round, but Good conditions. Heard Tom 100%. I wouldn't say Q5 for audio reports, but we did hear Tom's last transmission. And comments. Yeah, I did send a text off to Mr. Delichet, K0DW, in case if he's unaware of the situation, so that maybe he receives the news in a more appropriate manner. But comments on Jerry's, I was cracking up on the Cluj, California kilowatt because my assumption was it was just an advertising mock-up that went nowhere, but maybe Jerry has more information. But I also thought the term Cluj, which has that connotation, but also the fact that the last name Cluj is Germanic in orientation, which probably was not a go-to brand name in 1946 after World War II, but it's certainly an interesting photograph there in the advertising literature, and also the various transmitter handbooks that have copied that advertising copy. And just a few things to kind of return to track here. Did have a nice time at the QCWA meeting last Saturday at the barbecue joint, and the theme was a rerun from the QRP Club meeting a few weeks ago. That was K1LB, Woody giving a presentation on paraset radios, and was invited by our chairman to bring my RS6 sets and the GRC 109, so we gave a little show and tell on those radios following Woody's presentation. So that was all in the vein of amateur radio and cool stuff, and of course mostly blank stares from the audience as expected. Right, Henry, and right my fellow travelers here in military radio gear, including PRC 174s. It's just we're in a niche of a niche hobby, but I find it technically challenging, historically interesting, and just a lot of fun. And to surmise here, I didn't give the receiver lineup, but no surprise, it's the HRO5TA1 that, as Henry's aware of and others, obtained from one of the Cabela's swap meets. And it's the only restoration effort that I'd ever received as a kit, and I've gone into that in detail in the past, that the gentleman who was restoring it took it as if it was a Smithsonian restoration project, and it was very well documented, everything in little bags, drawings, photographs, and a whole handbook for reassembly instructions, along with all the parts he had purchased over time. So that was my restoration project, a little bit of paint work last summer during painting season, and I'm glad that I have an opportunity to use it. But I do have to take the S-ometer apart because when it pegs to the extreme right, it hangs up on the end stop. It's strictly a mechanical, simple fix. I've got to do some readjustment. But one of those restoration issues you always have on when you're in the certified sea trial mode. But someday, maybe today, we'll get ambitious enough to pop that S-meter out so it stops. Because everybody is S9 plus 80 on this receiver. 7-3s from Reno, and everybody have a good day and enjoy their extra hour of sunlight this afternoon. And body clock infusion. It's always fun the first couple of days to get through that. But over to Henry, WA7 YBS W7MS.
Okay, Mike. W7MS, WA7YBS, and yeah, just looking at things here. And we thought we would fire up the 1625 rig and the W6 MIT95 linear amplifier. So we're running, well, I have no idea anymore what we're running, but anyway, it's probably around 130 watts or so. But anyway, 73 all the stations who have signed. And Mike mentioned Cabela's of last year. This year's Cabela's is May the 10th. So it's just about 2 months away. So get ready. Cabela's is the place to be on May the 10th anyway. And we'll be there, of course. And let's see, what else? I guess other than just that I did want to get on with the this transmitter, the 1625 rig today, and I, early in the morning you don't really, you go with the easy way, but the sun's up, so the 1625 rig is running and going through the linear amp. So homage to W6MIT. So with that, 73 all around, and over to Ron, NU6FWA7YBS.
Okay, turn off that speaker. Wow. All right, guys. Well, here we are pulling up the tail end on things, and not sure if anybody's listening out that's signed, but anyhow, okay, on Vern's squirrel report, boy, what an ongoing battle. I think we need to all show up there with our 22s and have a squirrel shootout. Take care of his problem. Yeah, and when Jerry was mentioning his rotor, boy, the old school rotor, top pitch motor, Selfin, bicycle chain. Yeah, that would be pretty frustrating, picturing that sitting up there at the top of that tower and not being able to get back up to it like you used to all the time. And Tom and I were talking about that kind of stuff yesterday. Good hearing Carla in there, and I'm guessing that she is Skillet Mobile in the kitchen. And Dave, yeah, I know he's already signed also, but I know he'd mentioned he picked up a pair of the PRC 174s, which I've only got the one, of course, but it's working just fine. I use it quite a bit, but I would like to find another one just for parts. And let's see, Cabela's. Yeah, Mike, I remember that project and how well documented that was. That really was a surprise to find something that well documented on a ham project instead of having to reverse engineer everything. And Henry, okay, on your double extended ZEP, which will be the 2 5/8 waves. I had that going up at the Gold Run QTH for a couple of years, but eventually I went over to a 160 meter loop fed with Delta, 160 meter Delta loop way up in the trees and fed with ladder line. And but yeah, it was probably same thing. Any of those antennas with ladder line, why, they just work. And antennas for 630 meters, well, for that you just have to use your imagination to try and find something that'll work. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is done. I've gotten the antenna impedance down to 21 ohms when I started out at 130. So all the grounds. Sent Mike a picture of the new loading coil / variometer. I built a big one. It's almost 2 foot diameter, and I've got a remote motor tune on that. So now I can. And the antennas are so tight. Why, if I move 2 kc, why the SWR goes way up. So now I don't have to run it out there and take care of it. I can do it from here. All right, guys. Good hearing the gang again, and an hour early, and a little bit more sun later on tonight. And thanks for running the herd on things, Chuck. And I guess that's it. I don't remember if we have anybody else below me that's still on. If not, take it away, Chuck. K0DWC NU6F.
Okay, Ron. Yeah, I'm not sure if Bill had signed or not. Bill, N6BCT, are you on frequency still?
Like I said, you know, we're glad to working with the atmosphere, getting it sounded right, good to get the voice because we couldn't perform every solid as a husband anymore. And so we got a draft on the last time by some other guy, and that's how I'm not the people. And it managers have the top time. This is 4 years. Sort of like 7 12 hours, basically, but you know.
You take care, and 7-3s to you and everybody else. It was a good net this morning, but, you know, again, hated to hear about John. We'll miss him. All right, guys. I'm going to shut the net down for now. Carla will be your net control next week, and she'll take over the reins, and I guess we will talk to you fellas next Sunday. So, as Mike said, everybody had a good day today and a good week ahead, and we'll talk to you all later. So with that, I'll shut the net down for today, and we'll turn the frequency back over to regular amateur use. I got to get ready. I got to go to Reno today, and I hate that. So anyway, take care, guys. This is K0DWC, Dayton, Nevada, signing off. 7-3.